Hey everybody, it's Brandon Luna with a special announcement before today's show. First off, it's snowing in Texas. Yeah, that's snow. It was 64 yesterday. Thanks a lot, Texas. Number two, we did something a little bit different on today's episode. We had Sam Leccia on, talk about the Leccia Black and the White. We had Blind Man's Puff on, and we used Google Plus to do the episode. Don't use Google Plus that much because I'm old and technology, and unfortunately, it was a public venue. So guess what? We had a couple of special guests pop in. That's what we're going to call them. But it made the show interesting, made the show a little different, and we all had a good time, and I really think you're going to love episode 51 of the Calypso Cigar Review podcast. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 51 of the Calypso Cigar Review podcast. I am Brandon Luna.
I'm Randy Rankin.
And today we have some special guests on the show. We're doing something a little bit different today. We have with us Sam the Man Leccia, right? Aaron Loomis from Blind Man's Puff, and Emmett Malone from Blind Man's Puff.
Welcome, guys.
Howdy.
And today we are reviewing a cigar, like always, and as luck would have it, reviewing the Leccia Black in the Robusto size.
Yes.
5x52.
I have my Altadis, or our Altadis cutter.
Yep. Don't take offense to that, Sam.
They donated it. So
all good.
Sponsored. There you go.
Yeah, I get to use this giant freaking
It's a cool lighter.
monster right there, man.
Lighter. It's a cool cutter.
It's a very cool cutter. Better than the one I have at home.
And the cedar spills that Brandon won from Blind Man's Puff.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
They are awesome. I'm a fan of the cedar spill.
What's the dog's name?
Nacho.
Nacho.
Nacho!
It's Nacho Dog.
Nacho dog. Almost said the same thing. All right. Do we have our Casino Gold? Our Casino Gold? Royal Gold cutter?
No, I
lighter.
don't.
Jeez. I can't talk. Good night for a review.
So cold draw on this, right off the bat, you get a little bit of that something special.
Mm-hmm.
That fire cured. Tasty, tasty.
Do you notice that right away before you light it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's more noticeable, I think, pre-light than as you're smoking it. It's fairly subtle. It comes and goes.
Yeah, when we reviewed this one blind, I actually didn't really pick up on it at first.
My spill isn't working.
He's having issues with the spills. I'll probably have issues with the spill as well. Let's see. It's just you're just playing with fire when you do this, and it's fun but also dangerous. And
I had to finish it the old-fashioned way. Nice dead air, by the way.
Yeah. So you should plan better for that.
We should.
Oh,
Those damn
shit!
cedar spills.
Whoa! Alright, so
happened?
there's a guy smoking, there's
Wow,
another
he
guy
joined us, huh?
smoking, there's some guys, looks like they're pitching beats and smoking, and then there's a guy in a bandana.
wow, I didn't think people would be able to actually
Check this
join
shit,
us.
though.
Yeah.
Checking it? Are you checking it, Tara?
You
Get
were
in here, Tara.
ejected.
See ya.
This is great.
Good, you best be. This
No,
is
we're
the
still-
homies.
Yeah,
Look, they're all smoking in here, like they own it. They run this shit. Good girl!
Wow, okay, not what I expected.
That's a hijacking.
This is great.
Tara, why'd you hang
Supposed
up
to
on
be
me?
able to.
Because we can't do two at the same time.
TRU.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi, Kelsey.
This is
we're
going to
gonna,
be your best podcast ever.
Guys?
Why?
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
why are you
This is a
doing
podcast.
I sound like a dying seal because
Hey,
like,
Sam.
I'm sick
You got
with
some fans, maybe.
This is no.
Dude. What is
Oh
this?
no,
That's not
Brandon
cool.
Luna.
Wow.
Brandon
Hi,
Luna.
Kelsey and Sophia.
Hi.
Ladies,
How
are
are
you?
you? What kind of podcast is this?
It's a cigar podcast. What are you
We're actually
girls
supposed to
doing?
be reviewing
Are
cigars.
we on the
Y'all are
radio?
a bunch of douche stick faggots, so bye.
Wow,
Are we on the radio?
thank you.
There you
No.
go.
That's awesome.
They must
Yeah.
know you, Brandon.
Yeah, they must. All right, how are we supposed to avoid that in the future here?
That was superb.
That was not cool.
Good timing.
How are we
Train
supposed
wreck,
to?
train wreck.
Yeah, not cool. All right, hold on. Shit, man.
I
start over.
I thought I heard a girl talking, and then I was like, what is going on?
You know,
Jesus Christ.
you know when you're looking for girls to chat, there's no one around. When you're not looking,
None.
everybody wants to talk
Come
to
out of
you.
woodwork.
This thing turned into a party in like 3 seconds.
But at least we're douchebag faggots, so that's
Well,
the
how
important
did
thing.
I mean? It's not. They're not supposed to be able to jump in when it's supposed to be private.
I didn't expect outsiders to call us douchebag faggots. I figured it was, something for us.
Right.
Anyone would be
Wow.
That was superb. I love it.
Fucking Google Plus, man. All right, so we're probably gonna have to deal with that as we go here. So hey.
Nice. Do we want to start
Jesus
over?
Christ. Yeah, let's start over. All right.
It's fantastic.
I'm not too worried about it, but I don't know
Save it for the blooper reel later. Jesus.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys and they're smoking cigars. You gotta see this, Ellen.
Nah, just leave it. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, so
Don't see this, Ellen. This guy's over there. He's smoking a cigar. This guy's smoking a cigar. It's like they own the joint.
And then she says, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, right. Are we on the
Cigars.
Are we on the radio? Does this
Are we on the
look like
radio?
radio?
Is this thing on?
But it's just
oh,
internet
man, there's
thing.
got to be a way to fix that.
We are holograms.
Wow.
God.
What the hell? We've done this several times. We've never had anybody jump in on a call.
You know,
I do not.
I would be. You're surprising me. This seems like your very first podcast ever.
Thank you.
No, it's not, man.
It's your first day with this new technology.
It's what is all this new technology? It's crazy.
How is the screen talking to us?
Yeah. Why is he in black and white? Is he from the 50s?
I think the live part is the monkey wrench here.
Yeah.
Here we
probably.
go. Here we go.
You're just gonna have
Here
to.
we go. Here we go. Another one. Another one.
Oh, Nate's joining in.
Hey, Nate.
Hey, Nate.
God, we should invite some people that we know. So that Nate, we know. So Nate, what's up? Meet Sam.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Nate's one of our regulars.
Right on.
Hey.
Right on.
We're doing something new, so hey, it is what it is right now.
Nate
Okay,
went
so,
getting some of that. Oh, no, wait. Oh, that's Nate. Okay.
so tell us a little bit about. I mean, everybody already knows about this. You guys are doing super business with it right now, but tell us a little bit about the Leccia Black and the Leccia White.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that still don't know about it. You know, not everybody is in tune to the world like you guys are, man. You guys know everything that's going on, and that's great. But no, I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done as far as getting it out there. But the response has been incredible, man. It's been very well received. It's won an insane amount of awards here for for a brand that's only 7 months old. So pretty exciting stuff.
Very exciting stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
made. I think it was number 9 on our top 25 list.
Nice.
But the concept behind the black and the white was to create 2 very different cigars. 2 cigars that are opposite ends of the palette, so to speak. And I thought the best way to achieve that was to use 2 different. Excuse me, it's the beer. Was to use 2 different factories in 2 different countries, and have a very unique, cigar smoking experience. So that was kind of the thing behind it. And the white is an African sun-grown wrapper around a Habano binder that's grown in Ecuador. The filler is Nicaraguan and Dominican Ligeros, and then there's a Pennsylvania Seco leaf as well, which is where I'm from. Each blend, again, not by design, but each blend actually consists of 5 different countries. They're both 5-country blends.
Very nice.
Very cool. And I just had a shout out from one of our listeners, John Reinhardt, goes by Rhino. He's on Stogie Friends. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that particular forum, but he said, "That was awesome, dude. Shout out." He liked the girls jumping in. So
That should just be a regular part of the podcast now.
just open it up to anybody.
Have her
That
group.
name
Anybody
sounds
join.
familiar. He doesn't live in Iowa, does he?
No.
John Reinhardt? No, he
Yeah.
lives in Austin or Houston, Texas. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I've smoked this before. I'm a big fan of it, and
I had my first one last week and really liked it.
Yeah, and I've smoked other cigars that have a similar Dark Fire, and this is by far my
Oh,
favorite.
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Well, I appreciate it. I wasn't really I didn't really describe the black. The black has a Habano wrapper that's grown in Ecuador. The binder is a Nicaraguan rosado, which gives the cigar a little bit of pepper, and the filler has Brazilian Matafina, and the and the dark fire leaf, which to me kind of centers the blend. It kind of ties the whole blend together. It doesn't add too much, but it doesn't take away either. To me it's kind of like I like to say it's like cilantro and a salsa. It just kind of ties it all together.
Yeah. So how did you get introduced to the dark fire tobacco?
I sourced all the tobacco in these blends, which was quite an awesome experience to be able to just try so many different tobaccos. I had these tobacco brokers. They're like it's like 3 airplane hangars just packed with tobacco. Various types from various different countries and various different types of tobacco, whether it's wrapper, binder, filler. It's you name it, they have it. So I had asked for some specific tobaccos that I'm that I enjoy using and smoking, and then I asked for things that I may have never tried or just some very different tobaccos. So I tried some German tobacco, some stuff from Peru, Colombia, tobaccos that I'm not familiar with. I'm not saying I haven't smoked them, because I may have in various blends and not realized it, but I was able to smoke a lot of tobaccos that I was unfamiliar with. And one of the tobaccos was this beautiful wrapper leaf that was actually introduced to me as Italian wrapper called Darkafina. And for 2 days, I'm trying to find a way to utilize this in the blend, because it was such an incredible nose. I could smell this tobacco from like 10 feet away. It was the most different. It was just one of the most unique tobacco experiences I've had, and I knew I wanted to use it. I wanted to do something with it, and it really wasn't until I found a place for it in the blend that I needed to find out. Okay, well, how much of this tobacco is there, and what's it cost? And it turns out I was misinformed. That it's not Italian wrapper. It's grown in Kentucky. It's dark fire, not Darkafina. So, for a few days there, I was thinking it was Italian wrapper. So that's how it was introduced to me. I wasn't looking for it. I just knew I wanted a distinct flavor, and I found it with that leaf. So, and like I said, I'm really using tobacco leaves are half leaves because the stems are moved. So where you may hear like double Lajero, it's typically one full leaf, because you'd be 2 halves. In any case, the amount of dark fire that's in there is a quarter of a leaf. It's a half of half a leaf. Right. So it's very subtle. It just kind of centers the blend. There's so many incredible tobaccos. I've got Brazilian Matafina in there. I want you to taste that. I want you to taste that Nicaraguan Rosado binder. If I load it up with
fake.
Yes.
Another one.
Yes. Superb. I love her.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it is superb. That is superb.
Did you nip her in the bud?
This is where I'm like, Jeannie, get off the computer, Jeannie! Mom!
Yeah,
I'm trying to do a podcast and Jeannie keeps crashing it.
I know, right? I'm on the podcast, Mom! Ah! Oh my God, I should be drunk for this.
I love it. That is so good. So anyway,
Pairing, by the way, with this Irish whiskey that was donated to us. It's called John Power and Son. I've never heard of it.
It's all right.
Not bad.
Free whiskey is good whiskey.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
My favorite kind.
Very much so.
So it's not
So
like
sorry, Sam. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't even know where I was at that point, but I was.
Well, Kelsey
I was kind of-
interrupted us.
I was kind of done with my description of the black blend, but I'm really excited about all of the tobaccos that are in that blend. I mean, I wouldn't have put them in there if I didn't want them to be there. So I didn't want one tobacco to overtake the other, and that's kind of where the term balance comes in, because when you smoke these tobaccos individually and you find that they smoke well together, you still want to still be able to try to know that they're in there. Where one can take from the other and make some tobaccos don't blend well together. I had tried to use the Pennsylvania tobacco in the black blend originally to have a Pennsylvania tobacco in each blend, but the Pennsylvania didn't work. So there's just tobaccos that don't work together either, and then some that do. It's a considerable trial and error. But I didn't want this Darkfire to take over this blend that I've already been working on. I didn't want that to be the main factor. So.
Yeah.
Well, I can pick up the Rosado. I really do.
Because when you grab the cigar, the first thing you do is you get the aroma from the fire-cured tobacco. But when I smoked it, that wasn't the main note that I was getting. It was just kind of the initial aroma. But it doesn't overtake the cigar when you're smoking it.
And I think some notice it more than others, just like anything. But it's just a different note. It's just a different offering. It's certainly not flavored or infused. The tobacco is it's dried with a wood fire stoked in the center. A lot of especially in humid times, they will have a fire in the center of a barn. Even air cured tobacco is sometimes fire cured, so to speak. But they'll typically use charcoal so that or natural gas sometimes, so that doesn't get absorbed into the tobacco leaf, where with wood fire curing, that's the purpose. You want that smoke to get absorbed into the tobacco leaf. It's not unlike if you're a Scotch lover, you know what I'm saying. Whenever a smoky Scotch, like the Isla region of Scotland is known for their peaty Scotches. It's a like a dried dead vegetation that smokes. It doesn't burn. It's too wet, so it burns, and that smoke gets absorbed into the barley, and you taste it as it's distilled. So it's not unlike that process. It's very similar.
Yeah, I definitely noticed it lends a sweetness to the cigar that's just kind of underlying. It's really, really tasty.
Well, and sweetness is an interesting description, because when people are still unfamiliar with dark fire or wood fire curing, and they think off the top that it's going to be strong and it's this overpowering smoke, and it's not that at all. It's not fermented like typical air cured tobacco either. It's quite young. The flavoring is in the curing, not in the fermentation. So these can go into cigars right away, unlike other filler leaves. So it's because you ferment to get a flavor, and this flavor comes from the curing. So with young tobacco, you get a sweetness to it, and it's anything but strong.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a total unique cigar.
But
I mean, I hadn't had anything like this when I smoked it. It just blew me away, really.
I typically wouldn't describe it as sweet, but to me it's more steak-like. It has that black pepper that kind of comes through here and there, that smokiness. It's kind of a charred, kind of a charred steak, which is kind of a weird thing.
It has some meatiness to it, yeah.
But the sweetness is spot on because of the age of that dark fire. So. Yeah,
and I've gotten that meatiness from other cigars, but with this one, when it's combined with that dark fire, it kind of makes it's like a peppery sweetness, almost like, I guess, to me, the first thing I got when I smoked it, I was like, oh, this is like teriyaki jerky or something. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
Which
but
is
that's my palate, so.
And that's an interesting descriptor too, and man, to me that's a good cigar.
Yeah, it's a damn good cigar. I want to have some jerky with it, just pair it with jerky instead of a.
I've noticed again, in making both blends, I had the white I had made first. I had actually that the concept behind that cigar was something that I had done probably 8 or 9 years ago, which, I mean, it's not like it's this crazy idea, but I wanted a real strong, full-flavored Cameroon. And I found this African sun-grown, which was, a darker, richer, Cameroon. and I loaded it with Ligero. What's interesting about that wrapper, I mean, obviously, if you know Cameroon, it's a thin wrapper. It's delicate, but the flavor is incredible out of that wrapper that it tames down the Ligero. If you were to smoke the white without the wrapper, you'll see just how strong that cigar is. That cigar was built for strength, but the wrapper tames it down quite a bit, which makes it so smooth.
Mm-hmm. So, Emmett, what was your first impression of the black when you smoked it?
I originally thought that, we did it blind, so I thought it was maybe a Cuban. I got a lot of classic, really good flavors from it, definitely full-bodied. And as it went on, I started to notice the kind of barbecue-y flavor later on, but it didn't really strike me up front.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about the blind reviews. You just never know. Aaron, did you blind review it as well?
No, I actually I packaged them up for the guys, so I got to unband them and everything. So I'm smelling these great cigars, but I don't get to smoke them. So I'm packaging them up, I'm shipping them out to the guys, and I'm wondering if they're just going to know right off the bat as soon as they pull these out of the baggies what it is with this great aroma. But I actually just smoked the black maybe a couple weeks ago, and I was surprised that I didn't get the same flavor that I got just from the aroma of the cigar, which was a bit shocking to me, but the flavor was great. As Sam was talking about, kind of like a charred steak flavor, which, I smoked it right after a Christmas party, so we had a real good meal and all that, and it was kind of like the topping off to the good meal there.
I think what's a good point to make is if you to give you an example, I mean, if you smell aromatic pipe tobacco, a cherry walnut, if you will, it certainly doesn't taste like that. Those are more aromatic. So this tobacco is very aromatic,
for sure.
and it doesn't always translate to a strong. I say that it doesn't to a strong flavor, but in the case of Darkfire, too much, in my opinion, can overtake, because it is a very domineering, characteristic.
Sam, what do you think of some of the other releases from other companies that have used the dark fire cured?
Truthfully, this is something I've been working on, and I didn't think. But two things: A, I didn't think anybody was using it. And two, I didn't make a huge over-the-top deal that I was using it,
right?
Because, I mean, I wasn't lying. I certainly told everybody it was in there. I was excited about it, but I didn't go over the top with the information on the Darkfire, because it is subtle. I didn't want to turn people off or to someone think that it was, some gimmick reason, and it certainly was about flavor and something different that smoked so good. So when I got the news that Drew Estate had launched or done a press release about the KFC, I was not happy. I thought I had found something kind of cool and different, so it kind of took a little bit of my thunder personally.
Yeah.
But then really I took maybe a day to think about it. And I started to really accept it and think how cool it is, because here, look, I don't know, I'm trying, man. I do things that I like. It's awesome when you guys like them too. But I mean, I haven't been doing this for 40 generations or 4 generations or whatever. I mean, I blend what I like, and it's exciting that you enjoy them. So when I go out of the box, so to speak, and use this tobacco that's not not really used in the premium world. It's also a sense of legitimacy that other guys are using it too, and with a guy like Jonathan Drew using it, it legitimized what I was thinking when I ran into it. So I certainly embrace it, and I think JD actually called me. I think a day or two after my press release that I was launching the Leccia Black and White, and explained to me that this is a program he was been working on, and he's going to be shooting out a press release because he doesn't want anyone to think that he was copying me. And I said, well, and I certainly, and he didn't want anyone to think that we were copying each other. So basically he was upset just like I was upset, and then we both, you know, and to say upset is I don't want that to be misunderstood, but you know, it just took away a little thunder. But after about a day of thinking about it, again, I think we were both really on board with it. And then to hear Jonathan Drew say something like, you know, we can grow this segment together, you know, it never even dawned on me that this brand or this tobacco would actually get its own segment. So to me, that was, again, another compliment. So I encourage it. Why not? I don't want to. I encourage people to try different things. So, you know, that's what I do. So I don't. If other companies, and it starts to become a trend that people are using dark fire, that doesn't upset me at all. It tells me that I'm doing something right. So, that's I feel really good about that.
Imitation's the best form of flattery, right?
Well, true, but you know, with Rico and with you know, JD, those weren't imitations. You know.
No, I'm talking about the ones that come after you too.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, why not? Hey, look, you know, everyone's you know, trying to steal the same dollars from you. So
yeah. Right. I kind of look at it as, you know, you see this in Hollywood all the time to equate it to movies. You see, like, you know, Armageddon's coming out, and then like Deep Impact's coming out at the same time. They're both about asteroids destroying the Earth, but they're both different movies, and they can both be good movies.
Tombstone and White Earth came out months apart.
Exactly. So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you can't say that. Go ahead.
In the spirit world, it's what's going on right now. Everybody's got a honey whiskey now, and flavored whiskeys have become a trend. So you know, if you don't have one, you're not in that. You know, you're not making money in that category, because now if somebody's looking for something specific like honey, well, you know, they're not going to go with just Jack Daniels. They better have a Jack Daniels honey because they want the honey. So it's similar to the dark fire. So you know, the fact that this may be a category, and I say may because, you know, there's only 3 cigars that I'm well, I think there's actually a few more coming down the pipe, but there's only 3 on the market right now. So, you know, to say it's a category is a little early, but look, I didn't use it for any of those reasons. I thought it was an interesting tobacco. I really wanted to put it in, and it worked. And that's really the story. All the rest has come afterwards, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, it works very well.
Great burn so far. It's just like awesome, great ash. I hate to ash it, but I'm gonna, just in case I don't drop it on myself here. Oh, it won't let me ash it. Okay, I'm keeping the ash.
Keep your ash.
Each cigar is centered with a copper wire to hold a perfect ash.
Awesome, nice. I thought I tasted some copper a minute ago.
Little metallic.
Little metallic flavoring.
So we did have some questions from some listeners. So I want to go over a couple of these real quick. I posted on a couple forums just to see if anybody had any questions for you. So there is a couple of those, and we'll. One is from Phil from Chicago.
Phil from Chicago. Hello, Bill.
Phil from Chicago. Hello, Phil. What do you enjoy more, rolling your own or developing new blends?
That could be the same. That could be the same question.
So I think with he paraphrased that with every time he sees you at an event rolling, it looks like you're just having an absolute blast.
You know, I'm glad that you know, he sees that, because I do. I really enjoy. You know, honestly, it's like anything. If the people that are at a cigar event are enjoying themselves, then I'm enjoying myself. I mean, it's you know, so if they have energy, I'm gonna give them everything I have, and if they're not into it, then, you know, I'm not gonna waste my time either. I don't mean to waste my time, but, you know, I don't want to push the issue either. If you're not into it, then cool. We'll just have a laid back, chill event. You know, it's not like it has to be, you know, balls to the wall all the time, but sometimes it's really interactive and real energetic, and I'm rolling a lot of cigars and having a lot of conversation, and you know, I certainly put everything I have and everything I do, and I enjoy sharing it. So.
Yeah. I had this question a bunch of times, actually, like 4 or 5 times from different forums. Where's the Lancero? Is this something you think you could do in a Lancero?
Wow, look at that. Cue the Lanceros.
Uh-oh.
It's black and white. I have a couple bundles of these that are made just for me right now. I'm just.
You could send one of those our way. We'll review it for you.
I'm just smoking them. Nothing in production at this time. But this little guy's is sitting in the aging room.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
This is the.
That's pretty.
658 Perfecto in the white.
Wow. See it here first.
It's beautiful. It smokes beautiful, and that's going to be arriving in a sampler geez, hopefully soon. And it's also going to it's also going to be an additional size, but that's going to be a little longer. So you'll first see it in the samplers.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Another let me see here. I got a couple other questions here. Okay, this is from one of the gentlemen on Puff. His name is Him, and he asked, "Did you experiment using the fire-cured leaf as different parts of the cigar, like binder, wrapper, etc.?"
Yeah, I initially used it as a wrapper because that's what it is. If you go to one of my events, I try to have it. Sometimes I have to toss it. The tobacco doesn't last forever on the road, but I like to have a whole hand of dark fire to show everybody. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful color. It's got a thick, grainy texture, but it's just gorgeous, consistent color. And so yeah, initially that was used as a wrapper because that's what it is. You're not going again. When I'm experimenting with tobaccos, price isn't a factor at this stage. I'm looking for flavor. Price could determine whether something has to be a limited production because there's not enough yield of that particular leaf. But that's not how I go into making a cigar, at least myself. So, I don't know where I lost my train of thought a little bit, but what was the initial question, man? I totally lost it. I was waiting for my girlfriend to wrap up.
Using it in different parts of the cigar.
Yeah, did you use it in different parts of the cigar?
But again, this tobacco doesn't burn that particularly well, and I thought as the wrapper, it just totally dominated the cigar smoking experience, and that's not what I was going for. I had already had a blend that I was digging. I was just trying to add to it. So I really knew I had a nice, or at least I felt real confident about the blend I had been working on, that it just needed the next, little love to take it to the next level, and that dark fire is what it was. So it ended up just, I started it as the wrapper, started it as the binder, I had a lot of it in the filler, and then just kept narrowing it down to what made sense for that particular blend. Yeah, I absolutely did. In fact, the binder that's on the black, that Nicaraguan Rosado, I really wanted to make that as one of the wrappers, but it's not a pretty. Aesthetically, it's not a good-looking wrapper, which is why it's the second leaf. So they would look like bundle cigars, but they would taste like, yeah. So it's one of those things where you buy with your eyes, and you got to have a nice, good-looking wrapper. So that's like I said, that's why it's in the binder, which it comes through. It comes through. Mega history.
Oh yeah, I definitely pick it up. I definitely get it.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. I noticed you tend to buck the system. You started with the nub, obviously, and then going into the fire-cured stuff. And I also saw somewhere in an interview that you actually like larger ring gauge cigars. Do you foresee a larger ring gauge, like a 7x70, in your future at all?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Never say never. It's not really on my. It's not on my priority list right now. I'll say that much. It's something I've thought about. Obviously there's a demand for it, and my business is to sell cigars and to make cigars that people want. I don't want to make cigars that only I want. So it's about making good cigars that people want to smoke. So if the demand is strong enough for a 770 or whatever, yeah, I'll consider that for sure.
That ash is still holding on like a champ. Yeah. Check that out. It is awesome. Yep. So you are working with Tarano, obviously, and what I wanted to know was, are you going to be possibly working with them directly on a blend? We talk about it. Charlie and I talk about that all the time. I don't think the time is really right for either of us to do any joint merger. I'm still, I've only been on the market 8 months now, so I know that some people that may know my past know that I've been doing this a lot longer, but really this is a new start for me. So it's not like I could just take off from where take over from where I left off before. That's it's quite small, and this is my garage. This is where I work out of. This is my office, and this is where this is camp headquarters. So it's a small operation, but
I think down the road, I would be interested in doing that because Charlie and I have just an incredible respect for one another, and I'd be honored to do something with him down the road for sure. It's just not, again, it's just something we talk about, but there's no time for that right now. It just doesn't make sense,
Yeah. So how long have you been on the road with this?
Well, I mean, I've really been on the road, I guess, since the launch in April. But I mean, sometimes it's crazy and sometimes it's slower. I try to balance it. I've got 3 kids and a wife. So I try to balance being at home and still making basketball practices and still being an important figure in the family. I don't want to just live on the road, but being on the road is what drives the brand and what brings awareness, and that's what hopefully can put those kids through college someday. So kids gotta eat, dad's gotta work,
Right.
So and the worst part about traveling is just the day, the night before and the day of leaving. Once I'm there, I have a blast.
Yeah.
But it's just always brutal to that day you got to leave.
Yeah, I imagine
That's the tough part.
with the kiddos and all. Do you guys Skype and stuff while you're on the road?
You know what? I have my kids are 10, 7, and 6, and my 2 boys and a girl. Girls in the middle. So I have bookends, I like to say. She's gonna need them. And my daughter has an iPod Touch, so she can FaceTime me.
Yeah.
And
cool.
my son has he has my old iPhone 4. That's basically just an iPod as well. He doesn't use the phone, but he can call me, on FaceTime. So that really helps a lot. So I can tell him good night and still be dad. So.
Very cool. You had a question, Emmett?
I was just gonna say if it's not something with Terreno, what is next down the road for you? Do you have any blends that you're working on, trying to release this year, or?
I can honestly say, again, I don't know. I don't know the direction of the future beyond what my next release is going to be. But I've got enough blends in the blend book and kind of branding ideas to probably last for the next few years. I've had a lot of downtime, and I've created a lot of ideas, and so some things still need to be put to paper, so to speak. But that's what I enjoy doing. I've really enjoyed coming up with the blend and the flavor and the cigar, and then the whole experience of the packaging. That's exciting to me. I really dig it. I do all the artwork on my stuff. I certainly get help when I need it. Usually just to clean up my stuff because I'm not. I know the look, but I'm not super savvy an illustrator. But whatever. I do all the design and I love it. So it's a whole wow factor.
Yep. I noticed that you seem to have that artist heart and you like to create things. Is that what's part of your process? Because artists tend to have a process. Do you listen to music while you're blending, or is there any specific thing that you do?
Look, I listen to music when I do just about anything. I rarely do anything without tunes. When even as a kid, when I was cutting grass, my headphones were on all the time. I'm certainly just inspired, by music. Maybe not to do some wonderful thing, but just inspired in general, just to get up out of bed and take a shower. When I'm cooking in the kitchen, I'm cranking tunes. So I'm always listening to music, and like I said, I still have music in the background. So whenever it gets quiet, I can still jam back here. But
what are your jams typically?
You would be surprised.
We heard the Who earlier, so yeah.
We like the Who, yeah.
Who doesn't?
It's really all over the board.
I find myself doing the same thing. The only thing I don't really listen to is country, unless it's like really old country. But you can go into my house and I could be, making breakfast to classical music, or I could be making breakfast to the White Stripes. It just depends on the.
My iPod would blow you away how many different artists I've got and genres.
Yeah, Ray Charles to Link Ray.
Yeah.
I always say I like air supply to ZZ Top. You know, A to ZZ. You know, everything.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
What's that?
Nicaragua or Esteli has this incredible love for air supply. You will not go down there and eat at a restaurant and not hear an entire album of air supply. I am.
That's awesome.
By the time I'm done in Nicaragua, I am.
You're thinking Lost in Love the rest of the day?
Oh man, you know, air supply gets so old after the second day in Nicaragua, man. It's amazing. I don't know what it is.
Over there.
It doesn't matter what restaurant you go in, man. It's air supply. It's like box sets, you know. It's uncut. It's
It's like their Hasselhoff in Germany.
Right. It's Hasselhoff air supply. Still got that ash. Still holding on. It's awesome.
Right on.
That wire's really holding, man.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for everything.
Yeah. So there was some news today that I saw. Doesn't really relate to premium tobacco, but CVS, which is a large pharmaceutical store, is basically pulling tobacco out of their stores. CVS.
Oh, okay. All right.
And how do you feel about that? I mean, what does that mean to you? I mean, it just seems like that's the new, part of the new thing that everybody's going after is tobacco, and that to me is just like they're going to lose $2 billion from that.
I don't have a problem with anybody doing something that they choose to do. If that's what CVS wants to do, that's their right to choose it. I don't like when a government imposes you to choose.
Exactly.
That's so if CVS chooses to not, look, I always question that. Here it is. You go to a place, to get well. This is where you get your over-the-counter medications, whatever prescription meds you may be on, and yet to sell, alcohol, they should also, they should also do the same thing with alcohol, because alcohol is, no different. So if you're going to separate one, separate them both, but at least be consistent with the message. But I don't have a problem with it if that's what you choose to do.
Let the marketplace dictate, not a government entity.
So look, if CVS wants to make that decision, go for it. If they want to turn into a lingerie shop, I mean, go for it. That's their business. I don't have an opinion on something that somebody wants to do. So I'm for it, if that makes sense.
That's a great answer, and I totally agree with you on that.
For sure.
They had a smoking ban here a couple of years ago that they were trying to impose in the city that we're in, which is Richardson, Texas. It's a Dallas suburb, and that was one of the arguments. Matt's the owner of the store, and he went before the city council and said, if a bar doesn't want to allow smoking, that's fine, that's fair. I mean, that's their decision. But the marketplace should dictate. Their clientele should dictate whether or not they allow smoking in their bar. If they have a lot of smokers, then allow it.
Well, I mean, it's same with cigar shops. There are some, states that are Louisville, Kentucky. You can't smoke a cigar, in a cigar shop. Now here, think about being an owner of a cigar shop after you've owned it maybe for 20 years. You get into this business because what you do is like smoking your pipe and cigars every day. That you decide to open up a shop and sell this stuff, so that that's all you got to do is sit and smoke all day. I'm not saying that's what retailers do, but I'm saying this is a thought process going in. And now after 20 years of doing everything he loves to do, he's like, well, you can't smoke anymore. It's like, what? How? That to me is absurd.
Well, Kentucky's weird anyway because they have all these bourbon distilleries, and yet most of the counties are dry. So you can go to the distillery, but you can't have a sample because it's in a dry county. It's weird.
You gotta love Kentucky.
Yeah.
I love a lot of their exports, but the state itself is weird.
We have another fan that actually texted me. His name is Kenneth Monty. He's on Stogie Friends, and he goes by TNT Clip. He rolls his own stuff, and he wanted me to tell you that you gave him a 5XL T-shirt for Lee Winstanley in England at Cigar Fest last year. So I don't know if you remember that at all. But
awesome, absolutely.
He said they were confiscated by English customs. Some cigar seeds, I guess, were confiscated by English customs. Boo on English customs.
I've always liked to make real big shirts because when you only go up to a 2X, you're missing out on quite a few guys that hang out at cigar shops. So
like this guy.
And they're a much bigger billboard, so you want that sign.
Exactly. You can't put a price on that kind of real estate.
Right.
So
free Lucia tattoos at the next event, right on your forehead.
But at the same time too, they don't have a lot of cool stuff. Not a lot. If you're into a brand or into a hobby, you don't typically have those kind of shirts or whatever in your, in that size. So I make up to a 5X shirt, a 5X, a 3X, and a 2X. So
awesome.
That's
My dad would have loved you. He was always so upset that double X was as big as he could get, and they never fit him. So he would have loved you.
And they cost me a good $2 more for the sizes. I mean, they're huge. They're huge. I used one as a car cover for the Mini Cooper.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
I just complimented all of my large fans, and then I just shit on them with the Mini Cooper.
You did. You just ruined the whole dream.
So sorry.
Here,
They were feeling so good about themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
just not
Where's our
cool.
friend to pop in and yell at us when we need
Where's
him?
Kelsey? Where's Kelsey? Bring her back.
Hey, they're talking about
They got cigars in their mouth.
God, put something in your mouth. Won't be a cigar.
They looked underage. Let's not
Yeah.
say that.
Okay, we'll cut that. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, so I had another question about you had the debut was Honduran tobacco in it. Any plans to return to the use of Honduran tobacco in the future for you?
Sure. If it makes sense in the blend, I don't try to. I think if you go into a project with rules, you're gonna make your life a little more difficult.
Yeah.
And you may never chase what you're after. So if I'm working a blend and Honduran wrapper, tobacco, filler, whatever, finds its way into it, sure. So I'm not opposed to it. In fact, I've been, I hate mentioning things, but sometimes, but I've been playing around with or smoking some samples of Honduran Connecticut and Nicaraguan Connecticut, which is just as dark as Habano. You would never. If I told you it was Connecticut, you'd tell me I'm lying. I mean, it doesn't look Connecticut.
Really?
It still has a light creamy flavor, but it's a richer, more Habano-like Connecticut leaf. So, look, I'm always playing with things, So when the time is right or when the blend is right and the tobaccos are right, sure. I don't, if it
You don't
works.
limit yourself. You keep your options open, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's tough to go in and say, all right, I want to make a Honduran whatever,
Once again, that shows your artistic side. You hear a lot of writers, like Stephen King, so he can't go into a book with a planned story. He just starts writing, and that way it's all open to him. And you hear a lot of writers say the same thing, a lot of same painters say the same thing. So definitely goes back to your artistic side.
To me, life is about moments, and it's about living for the moment, not necessarily, I'm actually writing a little bio for my website, so I've kind of taken this from that, but I just was starting to write it, last night. But I'm just thinking, I'm a person that lives for the moment. I certainly care about my future. I'm not reckless, but I live for that moment that is just, everything is just right with the world, and things just feel good and everything just kind of clicks. And to me, that's when a blend happens, or that's when a brand happens, Black and white, it happens organically over time. Black and white initially was going to be 1,000 different names with 1,000 different logos, so it's always a process that's kind of happens organically. And when you have that moment, that's when it all works. So I try not to go in with too many plans because you're really limiting yourself to other options, I guess.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's actually another question from another one of our listeners, Rhino again, asking, did the name Black and White come first, or was the cigar first, and then you named it Black and White?
No, the blends definitely could come first because my idea was just I wanted to do two different cigars, two different factories. That concept I was already working with these two factories, so that was a process that was going on from the very, very beginning before really any. Even while it was still kind of the debut, I was still working out of two factories. So, that came afterwards because it was, what do you call these things? Look, sometimes a brand happens and a blend follows, and sometimes a blend happens and a brand follows. So, I don't really put rules behind it. I don't say, look, I want to do this and we're going to make this. It's you put something around what you have,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So do you foresee sticking with the color wheel and going into like the Leccia red, the Leccia green, whatever, or is that not even in your wheelhouse?
Candela?
Leccia Green Candela. There you go.
Honestly, that's not the route I plan to take, and you'll notice that real quick on my next launch. It's very different. So no, there's definitely consistency with the branding, the LT and my signature and Leccia Tobacco logo. There's certainly
which is a very cool logo. I really like.
Yeah, very cool.
The LT or the smoked Leccia Tobacco.
The LT, the one I'm looking at right now.
Oh, right on.
So Aaron or Emmett, you have anything? Or we're kind of hogging the interview here.
I did have a question. Brandon had brought up the debut. I was just curious, whatever happened to those cigars? Did they still exist, or did something else happen with them, or? They
were confiscated and burned.
Okay.
Nice.
No, they're sitting on an aging room in the Dominican Republic. When the debut was to be launched, I was already smoking that cigar for quite some time, and then I didn't make the return back into the industry till 2.5 years after that. So I was kind of bored. I was kind of done with the debut. I've been smoking it for 2 years. So to me, my debut didn't happen the way I wanted it to, and I just didn't feel right even using debut. It was my debut. I fell on my face on the debut, and that's why they're still sitting on the shelf. So I don't know. I don't know if look, they're there. I'm eventually going to want to sell them. So
Yeah, I was just curious if they were going to make their way out at some point, or if they just.
I would imagine. I just don't have any plans. To me, I'm looking forward, and that's in the past. And I'm not saying the debut's a bad thing by any means, but I've already done that. I still want to do things I haven't done, or blends and brands. So to me, it's not time to be nostalgic.
Right.
Yeah, you got to move forward.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you always have that possibility later on to bring it out as a well-aged cigar at some point if you.
They're not going anywhere.
So when do you see your next launch happening? Are you going to bring anything new to IPCPR this year, or?
Absolutely, and I'm expecting a launch hopefully in May.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very
nice.
cool. We're looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be hard to top these initial ones, but I have faith.
Well, and I think it's just a third offering. I don't think it competes with the other two either. I think it's three very distinctly different blends that it shouldn't take away from what's out there. And I mean, of course, that's my opinion, but the last thing I would do is make something that I thought was going to take somebody away from one of the black or the whites. So I think it's just a third offering. It's a very different blend altogether. So
how many blends? You mentioned, I know you're very hands-on about blending and everything. So when you were over there blending the black and white, how many blends did you end up coming home with that you're still tinkering with? You mentioned having a lot.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would. I mean, maybe some. I'm not organized enough to actually put a number to how many blends we've made. But I smoke. When I'm making different blends, I'm only smoking an inch in. If I don't like it by now, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's move on. So if there's something that isn't grabbing me, I'm done with it. So at that time, you could smoke 20 or 30 cigars in a sitting, or a good bunch. But part of it, I like to be more hands-on. The factories will always make something unique or something, and they'll send it to me, or I'll tell them that I want to try this, or because there's things I'm always want to work on with, even with the dark fire leaf, and so I'll say, look, let's try this with this. But truthfully, to do it via airmail just isn't the same. I like to go down there and really, if they'll send me something that I like, I'll use it as a base. And then I'll go down there and kind of put my touches on it. To me, I mean, unless somebody sends me something that's just so amazing that I have to use, I certainly would do it. It's not like I have to put my stamp on, but I just feel that I can get behind it better if I'm involved with every step of it. I want to know, what's putting, what are in these and why they work, and I want to make them work, and I want to add tobaccos, to make them work. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like cooking. You can give someone a recipe and they can make it, or you can go there and cook it for them and show them how it's done, and it becomes a different thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I like to cook, but I would never follow a recipe. It's all in my head. You know what I mean?
I never
I'm
did
gonna
either.
do,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do my thing, because sometimes you might want it more garlicky or more hot, depending on your taste at times. So, yeah, I'm not a guy that really. I don't want to make it sound like I'm some rebel rule breaker, because I'm a very good guy. But I'm not a guy that really enjoys rules, but I also don't really give others rules either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be good to me, I'm good to you. Let's not make rules. So I try not to really structure myself with. I'm not some lawbreaker or anything, but
Sam Lucia doesn't like the man.
You're right. Well, I am le bad boy, so whatever.
Non-conformist.
You ride a motorcycle? I bet you ride a motorcycle, don't you?
I do. I just sold one too a couple days
Did
ago.
you really?
Yeah.
Oh, was it your project motorcycle? You sold it?
Yeah. I took an 86 LTD, out Kawasaki LTD. It's an old ugly 80s bike. It looked
Nice.
every bit like an 80s bike, and I made it into a bobber. Probably cut off like 20 pounds of metal. I don't know what I'm doing, man, but I just like to tinker, and I like to learn new things. So I'm no bike mechanic, but I like to say that I've done it and do things. So I'm very hands-on. I enjoy it. I enjoyed working on it. And I enjoyed the money I got for it. So.
Very cool. Did you sign the bike when you sold it?
No, man. No, you really? Look, nobody knows who I am. You guys know who I am. Nobody knows who I am. I don't go grocery shopping with paparazzi.
He's there writing a check at the grocery store. Here you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's not the way. Wait, really? No. You think I actually go to the grocery store? I have assistants go to the grocery store.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you get the makeup artist we sent you? Yeah, obviously.
What's that? Yeah.
Did
What's
you get
that?
the makeup artist we sent you?
Of course.
Mm. Yeah,
I was going to say something off color, but my mom's probably watching.
Hi, Sam's mom.
My family are big fans, so they're always kind of in the background watching.
That's awesome, man. That's the way it
They
should be.
might popped in here and yelled at us or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
my wife
so-
watched about the first 3 episodes and
This is
listened to them,
done?
and then she was like, "I'm done. You guys are."
Oh, I'm with you. I couldn't imagine my wife sitting through all these. Although wouldn't surprise me if she does. She went to the IPCPR with me in Vegas just this past year, and man, that was awesome. It was so great having her there, and she was such a big part of my whole 3-4 days. Made a huge impact on the retailers, and we made a lot of good connections. I was happy to have her. So she's a big part of it too. We're all in this together,
That's
My
awesome.
kids,
That's awesome.
my kids make me Leccia tobacco art all the time, and my daughter. Oh my gosh! I stopped her. Thank God. She was going to tag up her school with Leccia tobacco stickers because she sees Dad do that, And I found a whole pack of smoked Leccia tobacco stickers in her backpack. I'm like, honey, you can't do this. This is tobacco's bad. I was like, schools aren't going to be too happy about that.
That's
My
funny
kids
that you
want
say
to.
that.
My kids want to wear their Leccia tobacco T-shirts and that, and
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I got some swag from AKA Cigars. You know who they are? American Kick-Ass. And I got this pendant from them that says AKA on one side, and on the back it says American Kick-Ass. My 14-year-old stole it from me. She saw it in the theater room and took it and started wearing it to school. And then she's like, Dad, I got to tell you something. I'm like, what? She's like, you know that thing you had that said American Kick-Ass on? I'm like, yeah. She's like, it got confiscated at school. I'm like, what the hell? My dog tag. What? She's like, I thought it was cool, so I wore it, but someone saw that it said ass on it and they took it. And I'm like,
that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
But yeah, she loves all the cigar swag. So.
Yeah, she actually got you a cigar, right, when she was traveling?
Yeah, my daughter actually stopped at a JR's, and bought me cigars when she was traveling. So that's how cool she is.
That's cool.
They didn't sell them to her. They almost did. They're like, how old are you? Her aunt had to buy them. So.
My 2 boys can't wait to be old enough to smoke a cigar with me. So hopefully we get that chance.
Do you smoke cigars with any of your family?
My dad will smoke every now and then, but I've smoked cigars with him. But I mean, he's not a cigar smoker. He just turned. He'll be 71 next month. So he's kind of stopped the whole smoking thing, but he will enjoy cigars. So I certainly have enjoyed cigars with him. A lot of family are new cigar smokers. A lot of neighbors and friends that never had cigars have humidors and and catalogs and always showing me their newest lighter. So it's everywhere I go. People come out of the woodwork at school and whatever, and I saw this or I smoked that or but yeah, certainly just being in a community. It has interested people around to just see what it's about, and I know that some people have had their first cigar, but I'm sure a lot of guys could say that,
Yeah, for sure.
in their areas.
All right, you guys have any questions? Any last questions before we?
I have a question. I don't know if I can ask it though.
No. What is it?
I don't know. I won't mention the podcast. But there was a podcast a few months ago that we were listening to, and they took all the credit for the nub. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember.
And just wondered if you had heard about this.
I didn't, and honestly, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, again, that's the past. It's not. I had a great time there. I know what I did, and I know what the fun we had, and it's not worth defending. I don't care. I mean, look, my name's no longer attached to it, so to pay me any homage doesn't do them any good either.
Right.
To say something on their side. What good would it do if they were promoting my name?
Well, let me clarify. It wasn't anyone from Oliva. It was just a couple of regular Joes like us that said that. That he said that he came up with the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
past, so.
Well, shit. Maybe he did. I came up with Starbucks, but I'm not even saying that in jest. I have this book of things that I've written down in the past, and there's 18 years ago I wrote this. Be a great idea to have this, this coffee shop, and you can surf the internet. And, whatever.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, I don't think that the concept is that novel that somebody else couldn't have thought of it 100 times before I did. So, maybe he did, and good for him. Try collecting on it. I'll be part of the suit. We'll team up. We'll team up.
But I do want to make it clear that it was not anyone from Oliva.
Oh, okay. Well, and that's fair. That's fair. I thought that's where I thought you were going with that. And
yeah, and that's kind of why I should have addressed that a little bit at the beginning. But yeah, we just thought it was funny because Brandon and I were listening to it. I'm like, he didn't come up with that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, thought it was funny.
So I gotta say, there's maybe a couple of cigar companies that come out with their first run of stuff that we just were blown away by. I'll say Ezra Zion. They have a lot of really great cigars for their first run, and you knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, good stuff.
They're just so different, and they're mood cigars. I mean, depending on what mood I want, I either want a black or a white.
Yeah,
and I love them both. They're great. So,
and we ordered them today at the store, so we'll have them soon.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Look, I can't even begin to tell you how rewarding it has been just seeing the reviews and the love that these two brands have received, and it's been incredible, man. I mean, this isn't an easy thing to do. People have a different perspective of how I live my life, and they think I live a glamorous, rock style life, and I'm a very normal guy in a very normal neighborhood. This is how I survive. So this isn't a hobby. This isn't something I do for fun. This is my life, and it's my life's passion, and it's my life's work. So when people enjoy it, it is incredibly gratifying. So I can't. I got to change the subject. You could probably see the crack on my throat. It's awesome. It's awesome. So thank you guys. Thank you for enjoying them, because that certainly fuels me. You have no idea how that fuels the future for the brand. So it keeps me ticking.
Very cool.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. This was great. We have to have you on again.
Oh,
and maybe we can get Kelsey to come back on.
Yeah,
we can get some of the ladies to jump back in.
That was party was jumping, man.
That was awesome.
But guys, again, I really appreciate what you guys do for the industry and getting people to try cigars that maybe they haven't heard of, or different perspectives, different views. I really think the Blind Man Puffs, those are really interesting reads, because I truly believe that they are smoked blindly, and what I found to be what I was probably most gratified with was how consistent At least I think there was 4 blind man puffs that smoked the black, and 3 were very consistent. And I'm like, wow, that is superb. So and the comments they had at this cigar blindly was really exciting. So I was kind of going through the motions with them as I was reading that. So I read all of this stuff. I wish more people would link to me or tweet me that it exists, because it takes me forever to find them all. And there's quite a bit, and I swear I try to look at all of them. And when some guy says, you never tweeted my thing, I'm like, well, where is it, man? Send it to me. I don't know. I love reviews. I mean, it's you guys, no one's paying you guys to do that. And so when someone talks favorably on my cigar, look, you're going to see, at least on the, I'm working on the background of this new website. Hopefully it's up soon. It really falls on me. I'm filling in all the bio and all that stuff. The site is actually complete.
You going to link them on your site?
Oh, yeah. I list every review. If you've got a video review or if any award that, I mean, Leccia Tobacco got new brand of the year from Half Wheel. It was on the top 25 list of several, like 20-some different people. I mean, those are independent reviews, and whenever you have a consistency across independent reviews, to me that is huge. And so I appreciate that you guys take this out of your time. Look, I'm on the clock always. This is my life. You guys are not on anyone's clock here. This is your spare time, and I appreciate you spending it, talking about what it is I do for a living. So anything that keeps people more interested in how I survive is you're doing me a huge service, whether it's talking about Leccia Tobacco or anyone else. So I appreciate you guys keeping the passion alive.
I dig the 30-second spot you have too on YouTube. It's good work.
Oh, right on. You know what? That was it was an old steel mill in Pittsburgh. My dad actually, he's a retired Boilermaker. My entire family is Boilermakers, by the way. Most we're like West Virginia. You got a family of miners. My entire family. I mean, my grandpap was a Boilermaker. My dad, retired Boilermaker. My uncles, my cousins, they're Boilermakers. I could be president of the United States. My dad will still be disappointed that I wasn't a Boilermaker. It's a true story.
I've drank a lot of Boilermakers. Does that count?
Yeah.
That's a true story. Anyway, he had worked in there, years ago when it was in its heyday. So I didn't know that when I shot that video there. But real low budget, man. Just some guys. Everything I do is on the cheap because I don't know. I just do what I enjoy and I just go out and try to have some fun. But that was a lot of fun shooting it. And my buddy's band, that's his music. He lives right down the road.
Cool.
So that was his tune that was in there. So I try to keep it local when I can because I'm a big fan of this blue collar Pittsburgh town and my family and my friends around here. So try to keep it local when I can.
All right. Excellent. Got any shout outs you need to put out there before we go?
Well, you can follow Leccia Tobacco on Facebook. It's whatever Facebook, Leccia Tobacco. I can't accept any friends on my personal page anymore. I guess you're only allowed 5,000. So I think you can look at it, but you can't. I can't interact with you. Anyway, Leccia Tobacco. That's still me. Jack Tarano also posts on there as well. So if there's anything off color, I'm gonna blame it on him. I'm kidding. But I read all those too. So I'm very active on social media. Sam Leccia on Twitter, also Leccia Tobacco on Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Sam Leccia, and I like to do some cool pictures on Instagram. But I'm easy to get a hold of. If you have any questions, say hello, shoot pictures of you smoking my stuff. That never gets old, man. It's incredible to me. It's kind of, again, I get to share a moment with somebody when I'm not even there. So I really dig seeing people enjoy the cigar. Again, that never gets old, man. So.
Oh, I forgot about this earlier. So Charlie's quite the actor, Operation Smokescreen.
Dude, he was the best in that bunch, no question.
Is that going to come out at some point? I can't find that thing anywhere to watch it. Is it a real movie or was it just a trailer? What is that?
It's just a trailer. It was a very well done trailer.
It started out.
I regret coming into the industry just a little too late. I would have loved to have been in that. I mean, that is
you need
so
to be in
cool.
Operation Smokescreen too. You need to be in there.
I don't know. I mean, that is such. In fact, I guess there was somebody that I guess there's some secret person or whatever throughout the trailer, and somebody had
Yeah.
thought that it was me, and I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
wish. Like, I don't know who it
I
is.
kind of thought that too with the hair and everything. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm like, I don't know who that is. I wish that was me.
I saw that again today and I was cracking up. I was like, yeah, Charlie really brings it. He's the best actor in the trailer.
I just
really
saw
is.
it the other day too, which was odd because I haven't seen it in probably since it first came out. So it was odd. I just watched it too, and yeah, Charlie got some mad acting skills, man.
I know, right? Yeah,
I mean, he scared me, man. I'm like, wow, that dude is pissed.
Smoked it down to the finger burning stage. I
I'm
have to
still
let it
going,
go.
but it's
Right on,
delicious.
guys.
It's good stuff. Aaron, Emmett, thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Absolutely.
Sorry we hogged the interview.
It was good to talk to you guys and Sam.
Go check out Blind Man's Puff. Great site for blind
Absolutely.
reviews. They have a lot of great work over there, and the reviews are fun as hell to read, especially when you know what it is and then you read the review, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Blows you away.
They're at Blind Man's Puff on Twitter.
Right
We're
on.
at Calypso Cigar Rev on Twitter.
And you can see us on iHeartRadio, or listen to us on iHeartRadio,
iTunes, Podomatic, Spreaker, Stitcher,
YouTube, we're all over
YouTube,
the place.
Facebook, wherever. Twitter.
All right.
We're all over the place.
Yes.
There's no reason you can't find us.
Yeah, I'm the
Unless
same
you're
way.
not
People are
looking.
like, people are like, how would I get a hold of you? I'm like, man, how can you not get a hold of me? I'm
exactly.
pretty easy to find. I could never escape.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about you, Sam, is that you're so involved, like all the social media and going out to the shops and rolling and stuff like that. I think that makes it a lot easier for people to kind of get behind you and your brand. So
Yeah.
Anybody that puts that much effort into it, it's just easy to root for and easy to follow. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate it too, but the key is quality tobacco and good cigars because I could be the nicest guy in the world if I make crappy cigars. It ain't gonna do me any good.
Yeah,
But,
there's some brands that get away with it. So
well,
I won't
One
name
name names.
Well, thanks again, guys. This was really a lot of fun.
Yep.
And
thanks again for having me, guys.
Sorry about the usurpers. It was like
Oh,
being a
I
TV
honestly-
broadcast.
Honestly, that set the tone for because this thing started so bad. I mean, it had 4 flat tires when this thing started. So
Yeah.
he doesn't mince words. He's pulling punches.
well, nobody wanted to talk, and
No, it
it's
was a
like,
train wreck. It was a train
How
wreck.
you doing? I don't know you. Why is he in black and white? I don't get this.
Turn down the Who.
I love it.
I love the Who too.
All right. So
it's-
again, thanks a lot, everybody, and it's been great smoking with you guys.
See you later,
Have a good
Brandon.
rest of the night, okay?
You too.
Thanks, guys. I'm signing off.
Thanks a lot,
See
Sam.
you later.
All right, well, that ends our very special episode of the Calypso Cigar Review podcast. I want to thank our guests, Blind Man's Puff and Sam Leccia, for making it a great show. I also want to thank our Google Plus usurpers because they kept us on our toes, and we were able to get them their 15 seconds of fame. Thanks a lot, guys. Do yourself a big favor and go out and get yourself a box of the Leccia Black and a box of the Leccia White at your local B&M or wherever you buy your smokes. They're fantastic smokes, and you'll be helping out a great guy. So check us out next week. It's been great smoking with you.